I am SYAFIQAH. I like this course because this subject gives me a broader view of the Malaysian economy as well as ways to get statistics from national and international sources and how to use them, and is very useful for me in the future.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Putra Adik. The reason why I like this class because I can learn more about history of Malaysian economy, and I do like the history. So the topics that will be that discussed in the class really uh, make me feel like I want to know more about the topics. So that's why I like this class. Thank you.
I'm one of SYAHIDAH binti SINUZULAN. I like this course because it exposed me to history of economic Malaysia.
I am MUHAMAD ZAQWAN REZUWAN with metric number A1814555. The reason why I like this subject is because I get to learn something new about Malaysian economics every time I get into this class.
I'm Muhammad AFIFF bin Muhammad FAHMI and my metric number is A181230. I like this course because it exposes me to the history of Malaysia economic development and teach me a lot on how to find statistics from national and international sources.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is SYAHIDAH binti ANUAR. The things that I had learned from this course is lecturer taught us where we can get the data and statistic, which is at awesome that I've never known that before. Next, the way lecturer explain the things. For example, like historical of economy, or else was very clear and well. And sometimes doctor also make a joke to cheer up the class to avoid student feel sleepy and bored.
Hi, my name is Muhammad YUSOF. I like this course because it reveals to me the economic resources in Malaysia.
I'm SUPPIAH. I like this course because it's helped me a lot to gain more knowledge about Malaysian economy, and I learn how to analyzing statistic data.
Hi, my name is FATIHHAH. The reason I like this class is because I got to learn about the history of economic Malaysia, and also I know the growth of economic in Malaysia from the beginning until now.
Hello, I am Mohd bin KHAIRUL. The reason why I like this course is because this course exposed me about the history of Malaysian economy.
On 25th of January 2020, the first case of COVID-19 was detected in Malaysia and traced back to 3 Chinese nationals who previously had close contact with an infected person in Singapore. They had travelled into Malaysia via Singapore on the 24th January 2020. The immediate action that government take to curb COVID-19 in Malaysia, they had introduced movement control order. There are 6 restrictions there. Firstly, people were prohibited from attending mass gatherings such as religious, sport, cultural event and social. All places of worship and businesses were closed temporarily. However, people can buy essential goods at market, supermarket, grocery, shop and convenience stores. Next, people were required to undergo health screening for the detection of COVID-19 and self-isolate after returning from overseas. Then, foreign tourists and visitors were forbidden entry to Malaysia. Kindergartens, government and private schools, including daily schools, boarding schools, international schools, tahfiz center, other primary, secondary and pre-university institutions were all closed. Public and higher education institutions and skills training institutes nationwide were all closed. Government and private premises were closed except for essential services such as water, electricity, energy, telecommunication, transportation, irrigation, oil, gas, fuel, finance, banking, health, pharmacy, fire, prison, port, airport, safety, defense, cleaning and food supply.
COVID-19 situations in the beginning. A stringent screening process at all airports in Malaysia was enforced after the first case outside China was spotted in Thailand. Up to April 14, 2020, Malaysia had reported 2 waves of COVID-19 cases, with the first wave ending successfully with less than 2 months. In early March 2020, the second wave occurred with worrying situation. In March 2020, the number of reported COVID-19 cases grew relatively slowly until a religious event took place at Sri Petaling, Kuala Lumpur, which led to an exponential rise in cases. A few weeks after the event, Malaysia recorded the highest number of positive cases of COVID-19 in Southeast Asia. The religious mass gathering was a 4-day event with 16,000 people participating, including 1,500 from outside Malaysia. The number of physician cases increased beyond 553 cases on the 16 March 2020, and the Prime Minister of Malaysia announced a Movement Control Order (MCO). 2 more cluster groups were detected on 6 April 2020 from a religious gathering at Kuching, Sarawak, which led to 83 COVID-19 confirmed cases, and a wedding at Bandar Baru Bangi, Selangor, which resulted in 88 positive cases. As of the 10 April 2020, there were a total of 4,346 COVID-19 cases reported by the MOH Malaysia, including 70 deaths and 1,830 recovered cases.
Malaysia was under MCO, which came into force on March 18. When government announced the MCO, people started to become panic and worry about their daily lifestyle. The most common thing that we recognized during MCO among people was panic buying in supermarket and hypermarket. Like people rushed to stock up on their groceries before lockdown began. Empty shelves and long queue of people buying fill our social media feeds. On the other side, people use their free time during MCO in extracurricular activities. Being stuck at home all day during MCO also gave nations a chance to take up gardening. Most people started their gardening journey with edible vegetables. There were even kids that helped to grow plants and vegetables in apartment and condominiums. Example, for some reason, the Lida gin became crazy popular for its natural hair purifying properties. In addition, in MCO, many Malaysians recommending some of their favorite shows and movies on Netflix and YouTube to watch. Some even organized their watch parties, like friends watching the same movie together while their video call is on. Some Malaysians took advantage of all that free time during MCO as an opportunity to start a fitness routine. Many fitness classes switched to being online based too, making it easier for someone to start working out from home. During MCO 1.0, Malaysian government implements some strict SOPs, like restrict movement and gathering nationwide. Restriction on movement included travel bans nationwide and international travel bans. Those returning from overseas must undergo a medical examination and self-quarantine for 14 days. Gathering for any purpose, whether religious, sports, recreational, social, or cultural purpose, were prohibited. Funerals were allowed to take place, but attendance was restricted to minimum. All educational institutions, including schools, colleges, universities, and kindergartens nationwide, were required to close. All government and private premises were also closed, except those who were involved in supplying essential services such as food, water, electricity, oil, gas, fuel, banking, health, prisons, security and defense. Stricter travel restrictions were implemented, like restricting travel for food, daily necessities and healthcare to only within a radius of not more than 10 kilometers from a person's residency. And such travel was restricted to only one person at a time, unless reasonably necessary to accompany by another person. Those who were involved in supplying essential services were allowed to travel from their residency to workplace. However, they were required to produce an authorization letter from their employers if so required by the police officer on duty.
The government focuses on implementing the strategy at every level through implementation several economic stimulus packages and recovery plans, namely the Economic Stimulus Package (PRA), Package People Concerned Economic Stimulus (Prihatin), additional measures for the Economic Stimulus Package Prihatin Rakyat (Prihatin PKS Plus), and National Economic Regeneration Plan Penjana and Kita Prihatin. In March, the government unveiled the Prihatin Package and RM250 billion package that includes on 25 billion ringgit fiscal direct injection aimed at protecting lives and assisting businesses with cash flow, providing targeted direct monetary assistance to households, protecting jobs, providing funding to support enterprises, making provisions for health services and granting moratoriums on 6 months loans for individuals and businesses, particularly SMEs, are among the initiatives. The Bantuan Prihatin Nasional (BPN) is a one-time financial support only for a one-time purpose program that is projected to serve roughly 10 million individuals with a budget of 11.2 billion ringgit. Furthermore, the Wage Subsidy Program (PSU) was established to aid firms in retaining staff, and it is estimated to benefit 3.3 million workers. To combat the spread of COVID-19, an additional 1.5 billion ringgit was set aside for healthcare support and the procurement of medical equipment. The government also launched iLestari and 40 billion ringgit project by the Employees Provident Fund (EPF) that allows contributors to withdraw money from their retirement fund up to 500 ringgit per month. To help enterprises, SMEs and individuals with cash flow, banking institutions have granted a 6-month moratorium on bank loan repayments totaling 100 billion ringgit. In addition, on April 6, 2020, the Prihatin PKS Plus package was introduced to provide additional support to SMEs through a 10 billion ringgit fiscal direct injection. The PSU will be improved and the Prihatin Special Grants will be introduced as a part of this package, GKP. The government also launched a Penjana worth 35 billion ringgit on June 5, 2020 to help the economy recover quickly. The three cores of the Penjana package are to empower people, support businesses and boost the economy. Various efforts have been made to empower the people, including job protection and increased employment prospects. The government, among other things, has provided cash for recruitment campaigns, skill upgrades and training, as well as renovating the PSU so that it can restart operations. In a new familiar context, the second care focuses on preserving businesses' operations as well as enhancing productivity and competitiveness. Financial help to businesses is provided through programs such as SME and microfinance, tourism financing and pembiayaan Muda Bumi Putra. Tax benefits for COVID-19 related expenses and the elimination of penalties for late payment taxes were offered, in addition to lowering the financial strain on enterprises. The third component, which tries to invigorate the economy, focuses on speeding up the recovery process. The tourism industry is the one that has been hit the hardest by the pandemic. COVID-19 will get systematic support, mostly in the form of tax benefits and financial aid. To ensure that the sector can accept and increase activities in the landscape, to help boost and enhance sub-sector activity, incentives are also provided for the real estate and automobile sub-sectors. Furthermore, these benefits will reduce the financial strain on property buyers and car owners. How does the financial aid helps to boost the economy? A recession or economic downturn is the term used in the business cycle to describe a period of diminishing growth. As a result, in order to revive the country's economy, expansionary fiscal and monetary policies must be undertaken. Measures to enhance government expenditure and lower tax rates will be implemented as part of the expansionary fiscal strategy. Both aspects will improve customer spending power, hence increasing demand in society. When societal demand rises, producers will be more willing to provide goods and services. Government revenue will recover as employment possibilities improve and business revenue rises, thanks to higher tax collection. The government offers a variety of packages, including business financing, tax deductions for commercial premises, and wage subsidy schemes. The imposition of a 6-month moratorium is part of an expansionary monetary policy that tries to boost the money supply throughout the cycle. People, particularly those whose incomes are impacted, are given the opportunity to have extra cash on hand to stimulate consumption. Bank and loan rates have been decreased and debt repayments have been postponed. All of these strategies are targeted at generating community demand. Traders and entrepreneurs that recognize that there are numerous demands to be met would increase the number of workers, lowering the country's unemployment rate. When a country is stricken by a recession, the majority of countries use the deficit spending strategy, in which government expenditure exceeds earned income. This expenditure, on the other hand, will have a multiplier impact, restoring the country's economy. This time, it appears that the government is spending more than normal, with the budget deficit approaching 6% of national income.
Based on the surveys of public opinion on the impact of institutional COVID-19 family last year up to 2021 found the increasing use of digital technology in the time of pandemic COVID-19. Based on Lembaga Pendudukan dan Pembangunan Keluarga Negara LPPKN. Compared to before the pandemic, people did not care much about digital technology for important matters except for entertainment purposes such as social media like Instagram and Twitter. How technology is being utilized during this pandemic COVID-19? First, the level of use of IR 4.0 technology is increasing. Second, the creation of new technologies in medicine in an effort to eradicate the COVID-19 virus. Next is the use of digital technology while working at home and during online learning. The use of digital technology, especially for those who work from home and study online, requires them to have a good internet network. Based on the National Recovery Plan, under the first goal of continuing the People's Concern agenda, the government has agreed to extend the provision of 1 GB of daily data for free to the people until 31st December of 2021. Jendela program's objective is to provide wider coverage and better quality of broadband experience for the rakyat, whilst preparing the country for 5G technology. Explore the many initiatives set up to bring you improved connectivity and communication. And the pandemic reveals several areas of improvement required in the country's digital infrastructure, which is internet traffic increased by 30% to 70%, internet usage moved to residential areas by 50% to 70%, complaints on internet speed, new coverage and indoor increase from 40% to 70%, and internet speed reduced by 30% to 40%. How different segments of the population can benefit from better connectivity. Jendela give benefits to, first, education and productivity for home-based learning. Second, businesses, government and service-based industries to help SMEs and B2Bs recover and diversify. Third, communities and societies to keep the rakyat connected with families and friends. The goals of the Jendela program is, for the desired outcome, digital infrastructure and coverage map, improvement plan for coverage and quality, optimizing resources to achieve national aspirations. For the national aspirations, gigabyte access for fixed broadband, 100 Mbps mobile broadband, 100% 4G coverage. Jendela will be implemented in phased approach. The details of the phase are as the following. Phase 1, national target realization of 96.9% mobile coverage, 35 Mbps speed and 7.5 million premise passed. Phase 2, the full deployment of 5G will follow upon the robust platform for 4G coverage is achieved in line with the 12th Malaysia Plan RMK12, thus boosting digital connectivity nationwide.
First, economic growth. The project economic growth this year between 6 to 7.5% may not be achieved. The probability of a more realistic projection is 5.5 to 7%. The economy is expected to continue to be supported by the manufacturing industry, especially from the export sector, given the continued external demand. Second, the employment rate. From 168,182 respondents involved, 52.6% reported being highly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has so far claimed more than 16 lives. Workers in the service sector, particularly food and beverage service, recorded the highest percentage of job losses, that is 35.4%, followed the agriculture sector 21.9% and the construction sector. Third, tourism and accommodation. The hotel industry needs immediate vaccination for all employees to continue business after suffering a loss of more than 5 billion in the first 6 months of this year. Chief Executive Officer of Malaysian Hotel Association, Yap Lip Sang, informed a loss of 300 million for every 2 weeks of the implement of MCO. Fourth, food production. The main concern from the agri-food during the early phase MCO will lead to difficulty of selling agriculture product. The product selling dropped at an average of 14.3%, but still about 69% producer use e-commerce platform as an alternative.
Next is economic measure taken by the government in order to recover the national economy and its people. There are 6 economic stimulus package since 2020 until 2021. First is Prihatin Rakyat Economy Stimulus Package that has been announced on 27 March 2020, known as Prihatin. In this package, there has 3 goals, which is protecting rakyat, supporting businesses and strengthening economy. The main highlight for this Prihatin package are Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, Loan Moratorium, curbs COVID-19, withdrawal from EPF account to electricity bill discount and small project which cost 250 billion ringgit Malaysia. Second is Malaysia Economic and Rakyat Protection Assistance Package that has been announced on 18 January 2021, known as PERMAI. There are 3 goals in this package, which is combating the COVID-19 outbreak, safeguarding the welfare of the people and supporting the business continuity. The main highlight for this PERMAI package are additional supply for frontliner, COVID-19 vaccine procurement, food basket program, free 1 GB daily internet data and special tax relief which cost 15 billion ringgit Malaysia. Is National People Wellbeing and Economic Recovery Package that has been announced on 28 June 2021, known as PERMULE. In this package, the government will continue the rakyat welfare agenda and supporting the business while come out with new goal, which is accelerating vaccination. For instance, RM400 million to increase national supply vaccine and allowance for volunteer frontliner to be increased from RM50 ringgit to 100 ringgit per day. The cost for this PERMULE package is 150 billion ringgit Malaysia. Fourth is Pemekasa Plus Economic Stimulus Package that has been announced on 31st May 2021. The aim for the package is to assist affected Malaysia and tackle the economic impact following the full MCO. The cost for this PERMULE package is 40 billion ringgit Malaysia. Fifth is National Economic Stimulus Implementation and Strategic Coordination Agency, which is known as Laksana and has been formed by Ministry of Finance on 16 March 2020. Laksana submit monthly report to the Economic Action Council to ensure that initiatives announced as part of the economic stimulus package are implemented in an effective and efficient way. Lastly is strategic program to empower the people and the economy, which is known as Pemekasa and has been announced on 17 March 2021. The aim for this package is to boost economic growth, support businesses and provide targeted assistance to the people and sector that are still affected by the pandemic or the MCO. The cost for this Pemekasa package is 20 billion ringgit Malaysia.
Alright, I will be continuing on the economic activity or business that adversely affected by COVID-19. Okay, so the firstly is travel and tourism. Travel and tourism is among the most affected sectors with a massive fall of international demands amid global travel restrictions, including many borders fully closed to contain the virus. So because of that, 50% of our Malaysia's tourists are from Singapore and China, so they can't come to our country and we can't achieve the goal that were stated on the Visit Malaysia 2020. And also, the restriction also brought a decline of revenue to the airline industry and hotel businesses because of the plummeting demand around the world have put the loss to the airline industry, and also hotel businesses lost a lot of revenue due to the cancellation of hotel rooms booking. Another sector that has been paralyzed by lockdown is the creative industry, from visual arts to live performances. Most medium arts function by connecting the audience to the artwork or artist in the same location, usually involving social interaction. For instance, exhibitions serve to connect artists and collectors. Concerts bring together enthusiasts and performers. The cancellation and postponement of events have almost zeroed the incomes of the artists and venue providers. For evidence, the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra (MPO) is re-evaluating its business model, where most musicians' contracts are left unrenewed. The Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centres (KLPSC) is barely holding on, supported only by its community crowdfunding calls. Many freelance artists also fall under the gig worker category and receive far less social protection from the government. Previously, digital communication technology was explored by the industry to offer virtual showcases. But in the most recent restriction, even filming and recording activities are disallowed until phase 3 of the National Recovery Plan, pushing the industry to the brink. In the long run, insufficient job support and under-revised SOPs for the creative industry will set Malaysia's artistic and cultural appreciation back years. While the pandemic has induced change in consumer habits, we may not notice the severe disruption to supply chains. Zooming in on aquaculture and fisheries, low consumer demand due to dine-in restrictions and seafood restaurant closures have caused seafood price to drop and stockpile ups. A study in April 2020 reported that the price of fish sold from fishermen to village middlemen has decreased by 50 to 70% than before the MCO at March 2020. Demand for higher value fishes like groupers and Spanish mackerels, often enjoyed in restaurants and by tourists, are affected the most. With the income from fishing barely enough to cover the cost, Malaysia Inshore Fishermen Action Network (SHARING) raised the concern that fishermen may not go out fishing anymore to avoid losses. NIDA reported a 33.3% job loss in fisheries, impacting the lives of many fishermen who were already considered lower income groups in the first place.
So how long COVID-19 will be with us? No one can guarantee that the COVID-19 will end in the short term, as we cannot predict what will happen in the near future as new Delta variants emerge day by day, making the disease containment more difficult to be handled. So Malaysia can expect to move from COVID-19 pandemic into an endemic phase by the end of October, says KHAIRUL. So the health minister also said that with 80% of the population expected to be vaccinated by then, it is about time that the country learn to live with the virus. Malaysia will success if each member of the society spread the awareness about the virus. We need everyone to take the responsibility to encourage the people around them about the danger and also ways to prevent the virus from spreading into the surroundings, as there are still many people who still ignore what disaster the virus can bring upon them. Raising vaccination rates will be essential to achieve a transition toward normalcy. Vaccine hesitancy, however, has proven to be a persistent challenge, both to prevent the spread of the Delta variant and to reach the herd immunity. To overcome this, the government and Malaysia need to step out and prevent such fraud to the people, so the people will take the vaccine, as it plays one of the major role in preventing the spread of the virus. Government decisions also need to be precise and need to be considered what are the best solutions to stop COVID-19 in our country. Some actions that can be seen as the increasing in vaccine supply for the public and monetary aid for the people to survive during the pandemic. So what is going to be like after the COVID-19 pandemic? COVID-19 has shown that a lot of things, given the number of families that have lost their jobs or income due to the pandemic. We're going to see an increase in children who have experienced deprivation, insecurity, and traumatic stress. These challenges early in life can have lasting consequences for physical and mental health and for academic achievement. Without active steps to help affected children and their families, this will have a long-term tragic effect on Malaysian society. Things need to be improvised and be taken care as precaution, as there might be new outbreak that might happen in the future from every perspective, such as education, where the plan and strategy need to cover the last year of study for the students and well-being of the citizens in order to live the usual life as before the pandemic.
The type of economic business from the pandemic. Firstly, medical industry. Since the advent of COVID-19, data show an increase in the purchase and use of medical device and medication. This increase is able to stimulate the medical industry. Second, food delivery service. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, food delivery service was already popular among the Malaysian community due to current needs. Due to the emergence of this pandemic, Malaysians are required to adopt the government's calls to stay at home to break the COVID-19 chain. This has led to an increase in the use of food delivery service.